Miss Stephanie here for another Teen Thursdays. I'm at the Rotterdam Branch Library today, and we're going to be talking about books that are in our young adult fiction collection, and they're also going to be available on Hoopla and Overdrive. Now, Hoopla and Overdrive are our services that we offer to give you access to ebooks and audiobooks. So how to get those two things, Hoopla and Overdrive, you can either go on your phone or your tablet and download in your app store, type in Hoopla Overdrive, and it's going to be two separate apps that you download for those two things, and then you type in your library card number and you go through the process like that. Or you can also go to scpl.org, and on the left side of our homepage, there's going to be options that you can click. If you click Hoopla and Overdrive, you can get set up that way too. And actually, right behind me at Rotterdam is our new young adult fiction collection. So this is where we highlight all of our new books that we get, and these 5 are also on that shelf. And if you can't do a curbside appointment, then you can always do it on Hoopla or Overdrive. So the first book I'm going to be talking about today is called Renegades, and it's by Marissa Mayer. Now you might recognize that author because Marissa Mayer is pretty popular. She has written the Lunar Chronicles series, which is a sci-fi Cinderella story, basically. And I highly recommend that series as well. But this one is a newer series that she's been writing, and it's more of a sci-fi dystopian type of thing. If you've seen the movies Blade Runner or Mad Max, it definitely is that type of vibe. It's about this group called the Renegades. They are very smart, they're very strong. They've all teamed up together to overthrow this government in this society. And that's exactly what they did. So they're in charge now. It kind of takes place, the beginning is right when they start taking charge. And there's the main character is named Nova, who is actually from the former government. Her family is part of that former government, and she tries to sneak in and infiltrate the Renegades and tries to pretend that she is one to get the Renegades' ideas and plans to crash and burn, basically. And this is the first book in the series. She actually is writing a whole series of this. There's 2 other ones that came out. I haven't read the other 2, but I've read this one, and this one is really good. And I don't know if the 3 books is it. I don't know if she finished, but hopefully she has more books to come. And actually, they're going to be pretty big. So if you really like them, you're going to be busy because all 3 books are that size. So this is Renegades by Marissa Mayer. The next book I'm going to be talking about is called Fountains of Silence, and it's by historical fiction YA queen Ruta Sepidus. Seriously, if you don't know her and you're a lover of historical fiction, you definitely need to get to know her because she is great, and she has a lot of books that are about historical events. She mostly goes into World War I and World War II. And she does a lot of European history and not as much American history, but she is British, so it kind of makes sense that she wouldn't focus too much on American history. So this one is her newest one. It's called The Fountains of Silence, and it's actually about the Spanish Civil War. And it's about this main character. His name is Daniel. He's a businessman who goes to Madrid in Spain in the 1950s to create a business, basically. He wants to create businesses in Madrid. But he's actually moving to Madrid for an ulterior motive too. It's because his mom disappeared during the Spanish Civil War, and he has never been able to figure out the story. So he's coming to Madrid to try to figure out what's going on with his mom. He also meets a girl on the way, and there's a little romance in there, but it's really nothing, if you're not into romance, it's not like that big of a deal, It's not the focus of the story. But yeah, this is Ruta Sepidus, her new one, and call number for Ruta Sepidus is YAFICT and then SEP. And I'm telling you, for historical fiction fans, especially girls, I've noticed, really like her. Boys too, though, are definitely fans of it as well, but I've just noticed that girls tend to like Ruta Sepidus more. So definitely check this one out. Next, we're going to be talking about Sarah Zar's new novel. She also is a very prolific writer. She's done a bunch of books in her time. This book is called Goodbye from Nowhere, and it's a realistic fiction novel. So if you're into authors like John Green, John Corey Wally, or Jesse Andrews, the guy who wrote Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl, then this is definitely for you. So me as a teen, this would be my choice because I loved realistic fiction, like that kind of stuff. And this is about a main character. His name is Kyle, and he is, small town, all-American football player. He's in high school, and then there's some really bad family issues that arise in his life, and it basically changes the whole plan that he's had his whole life, trying to go to college for a football scholarship, and he ends up quitting football. He gets into some bad stuff, and definitely some hard topics in this book. I would say that I'd recommend this for an older teen because it is very serious, and there's some things in it that maybe even Kyle, the main character, shouldn't be doing. So that's Goodbye from Nowhere by Sarah Zar. Next, we're going to be talking about a brand new series. It's called the Mirror series, and it's by Julie Dao. D-A-O is the last name. And it's called Broken Wish, the book. And it's book 1 of the series. It's brand new. I unfortunately haven't had a chance to read it, but I have seen a lot of reviews, and everyone has been saying it's really good. And a lot of people that have checked it out, maybe 2 people that I've talked to, have said that it's really good. So I decided to put it on my list. So this is about a girl in the 1800s. She lives in Germany, and her name is Elva, and she has these magical superpowers. That's what they call it in the beginning of the book. But then you realize later that what she is a witch. And it's funny because she does try to hide it, because in the 1800s, I guess people aren't necessarily cool with superpowers too much. So she's trying to hide it, doesn't really know how to manage it, and she meets this woman in the woods, of course, and they call her the Witch of the North Woods. And she meets this witch, and she kind of trains Elva and takes her under her wing and shows her all the things about being a witch, and it kind of is going to continue their story in the second book, and hopefully it comes out soon, because it is a pretty short book. So hopefully if you guys read it fast enough, she'll come out with the next one. And I would say even the reading level is not that high, so it could even be a good book for if you have a 10-year-old or an 11-year-old at home. For the parents that are watching, you could maybe check this out for them too, because it's a higher reading level for them, but also challenges them if they are really good at with reading. So that is Broken Wish by Julie Dao. The last book I'm going to be talking about today is called The Midnight Lie. I love this cover. It's by Marie Vertowski, and it's definitely very similar to the other book I gave you, Renegades. Very dystopian, kind of like Hunger Games, or something like that, Mad Max, Blade Runner. And So this book is about the main character, Niram, and she's living in a family that's considered a low-status household. So in that form of government that she's living under, a low-status household is a family that doesn't make as much money or doesn't have as many material possessions as other families. So because they're considered to be a low-status household, they only can wear black and gray. They can't wear any colors, and they only have a certain amount of food that they're allowed to have from the government, of course. The government is the ones that deliver the food to them, and they basically choose what this family eats. So those are the two consequences, the two main consequences of being a low-status household in this world. And she meets someone named Sid, who is an outsider, kind of. She doesn't really know too much about this person. And Sid has a lot of ideas, let's just say. And Sid wants to look more into this society and see why, things are the way they are. Why do we have these low-income household rules or low-status household rules? And there's also this, the very wealthy and affluent families are called the High Keith, and they're also known to have magical powers too. So Sid and Niram kind of go into that, and they have an adventure and try to figure out what really is the deal in this society that they're living in. So that's The Midnight Lie by Marie Rutowski.